Hello, parents. Mr. Stemple here with McKinley Engineering. This is your introduction video for IED and or POE. So IED is Intro to Engineering Design. POE is Principles of Engineering. Both of these are sophomore classes. Some of your students will have just one of those classes. Some of your students will have both of those classes. And that's great. Hopefully I have quite a bit of students that have both those classes because they're both super fun to teach. Now, the first part of this introduction is going to look just like your student's introduction. So I'm going to give you some information about who I am, a little bit of a welcome, and some talk about what your kids are going to need for class. And then I have some information specifically for parents. So let's jump right in. Who am I? Mr. Semple. I have a degree in electrical engineering. I worked as an engineer for 20 years, did lots of cool stuff, traveled around Europe, traveled all around the country, et cetera, et cetera. Now I'm a teacher and I absolutely love teaching. I love teaching engineering, especially because it's something that I worked in for 20 years. I know what industry is looking for out there, and I want to help your engineering students become good engineers. So I'm going to be teaching them from 20 years of experience. I've only been teaching engineering for a couple of years, but I really do. I love it. These classes are so much fun to teach. Going to be a little bit different teaching online, but we're going to make it work. It's going to be a blast. I enjoy outdoor activities. I've got a daughter. She's just turned 8, and we like rollerblading together. We like riding our bikes together, doing all kind of stuff. And yes, like I told you kids, I did fall a couple of times, but whatever. That's what engineers do. We solve problems, we figure things out. So here's some things about the specific classes. And these pictures here are from last year. These are some things that we did in class last year. This year, like I said, it's going to be a little different as we start out, but I'm still hoping to do the puzzle block activity and probably the statistical activity. If we get back in class in November, we'll do some of these other cool things. So let's talk about principles of engineering. Principles of engineering, or POE, is designed to explore a broad range of engineering topics. We're going to talk about what it's like to be a mechanical engineer, what it's like to be a computer engineer, what it's like to be an electrical engineer. We're going to talk a lot about the design process, computer programming, robotics, all these cool things. We're going to kind of talk a lot about different types of engineering and do a lot of really fun, cool projects. The one at the top, obviously, is one that we did in class last year. Those girls built an elevator out of some of the kits that we have in class. Down below, these two are things that we've done remotely. We've done at home. This is a balance project that I had the kids doing, and down below is a piece of software that we used to build bridges. So there's definitely a lot of cool things we can do even if we are remote for most of the year. When we get to Intro to Engineering Design, we're talking about communicating like engineers. We're doing CAD drawings, sketching, documentation, problem solving, statistical analysis. This is more online anyway, right? So we're using a program called Fusion 360, which is an Autodesk program. We will make sure that the students get a license for that, so don't go out and buy it. All the software they're going to be using will be provided to the students. That'll come a few weeks in. We're going to try to start building puzzle blocks and doing a lot of sketching and drawing, etc. This is going to be the class that we learn to design and communicate like engineers. And it's going to be fun. The kids are going to have fun doing this stuff. I'm going to ask them to do a lot of stuff at home, a lot of building projects, a lot of collaboration projects. It should be a very active classroom when we're in class or when we're outside of class. When we're online working together, they still should be very, very active. Okay, what you're going to need, or what your students are going to need, is a notebook. We're going to provide them that notebook. It's going to look like this. You should see that coming home with them. Blue or black ink pen or pencil to write in that notebook. Calculator is sort of optional. They can use Google as their calculator. When we start doing trig functions, the Google calculator works a little bit differently than a handheld calculator, so I will have to make sure that they're using it the right way, otherwise they're going to get the wrong answers. If you're out school supply shopping and you see one of these little guys on sale, this is a cheap, like $10 calculator from Walmart. It does trig functions, sine, cosine, tangent. I recommend that they have something like that so they can do the calculations. We won't need those for a few weeks, so don't worry about having it right away. But this is the calculator that I have, the one that I use, so it does everything we need. Also, Canvas access. All of my assignments are going to be on Canvas. We're going to use web-based assignments, we're going to use video-based assignments, etc., but they will all be linked from Canvas. And let's see what else. Okay, so my contact information. There it is write it down. My phone number's there. My email address is there. If you have any questions at all about anything that's going on in class, about how to do a certain project, or if your student is confused about how to do something, call me, text me, email me. I know this year is weird, but I want to be accessible. So let me know if you need something. I'll do my best to help. Unless I'm out rollerblading, I won't pick up the call. So a little bit of info for you, for parents, just to make sure that we're all on the same page with what we're looking for here. So computer applications. We're going to do our class meetings on Microsoft Teams. Students have access to that. I think they access it with their student ID. And so that's where all of our video chats are going to be. All of the class assignments will be on Canvas. Like I said before, all of the grades will be on Aspen. I will update the grades at least once a week, if not twice a week. I want you to be sure of where your students stands on grading. If you feel like something hasn't been graded on time, or if you feel like there aren't enough grades in there or whatever, give me a call and we can talk about it. I have no problem with that. Class website, I put together a class website. I'm putting together a video to show you how to use the class website. There's a parent section on there, so you can see exactly what we're doing in class, and etc. The next one is the pltw.org website. Your students also have a login for that website. A lot of our class materials will be there, and that's a nationally accredited curriculum for teaching engineering. It's a great curriculum. We're going to use a lot of stuff from that website. The other software will be class dependent, and it will either be free or I will give you a license, right? It'll be free to you. Even if the school has to pay for the license or DCPS has to pay for the license, you will not have to pay for the license. So we'll get to those as we progress through the semester. Projects at home. Let's talk about projects at home. Some projects I'm going to ask students to do at home. There'll be small projects with easy to get supplies until I figure out how often and how much of supplies I can send home to students. I think students are going to come into school early to pick up some supplies, and if so, I'm going to try to have some small kits ready for students to bring those home. If they don't bring them home, don't worry about it. We will work on figuring out how to do projects with stuff that you're going to have at home, right? So there'll be some measuring projects, some drawing projects, some teamwork projects using Microsoft Teams. Don't worry about it. If you don't have something to do a project, don't feel like, oh my gosh, my student's going to fail because I don't have glue or something like that. Don't worry about that. We'll work through it. If I need to send you some glue, I'll do that. And we already talked about that. And last, certainly not least, thank you for your support. Thank you for having students who want to take engineering. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be an unusual year, but I'm sure that we can make this work. If you need something from me, give me a call, send me an email. I will reach out to you to make sure we're on the same page with what's going on. And I hope that your students really enjoy this class and have a lot of fun while we're learning engineering. It's going to be a weird year, but we're going to get through this, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you.